Dear Starseeds of Earth, if you woke this morning feeling as though gravity itself had doubled, as though your bones carried the weight of 1,000 lifetimes while simultaneously feeling hollowed out and empty, you are not broken. You are not regressing. What you are experiencing in this precise moment is the single most profound metamorphosis your soul has encountered in this incarnation, and the heaviness you feel is not the burden of collapse, but the gravitational pull of two entire timelines attempting to exist within your singular body. The void is not empty, it is pregnant with you. Yesterday, the ring of fire eclipsed not just the sun, but every version of yourself that you have ever been. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I am here to tell you that what happened on February 17th was not merely an astronomical event. It was a cosmic reset button pressed by the universe itself, and you, yes, you specifically, were the primary target of this recalibration. But here is what your human mind cannot yet comprehend. The person who went into that eclipse is not the person listening to these words right now. You have already died, and the weight you feel is the mass of who you are becoming, pressing against the thin membrane between dimensions, waiting to be born. Let me take you back to where this really began, because what happened yesterday did not start yesterday. It started on February 1st with the Leo full moon, when your heart chakra exploded open in what your spiritual texts called your soul's final release. Do you remember that night? The inexplicable tears? The sudden rage that felt ancient and justified? That was not emotional instability. That was the surgical removal of every identity you ever performed, every mask you ever wore to make others comfortable, every dimmed light you accepted as normal. The Leo moon came roaring through your chest like a lioness reclaiming her cub, and she extracted every single particle of false self that had colonized your being. You thought you were having a breakdown. 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 You were having. Then came the 2-2 portal on February 2nd, and if you were paying attention, truly paying attention, you noticed something impossible. Synchronicities stopped being coincidental and started being conversational. The universe began speaking to you in real time, responding to your thoughts before you finished thinking them, placing people in your path moments after you wondered about them, delivering answers to questions you hadn't yet verbalized. The 2-2 gateway opened a direct communication channel between your consciousness and the cosmic intelligence field. And here is what I need you to understand. It never closed. You are still connected. The static you hear in your mind right now, the fog, the confusion, that is not disconnection. That is the sound of an old frequency dissolving so a new one can lock in. But something else happened on February 3rd that rewired your entire energetic infrastructure, and most of you did not recognize it for what it was. When Uranus stationed direct in Taurus, the planet of sudden awakening and revolutionary change, shifted from retrograde to forward motion inside the sign governing your physical body, your material security, and your relationship with Earth herself. Uranus does not move gently. Uranus moves like lightning, and when it went direct, it sent an electrical shock through your nervous system that is still reverberating in your cells. Some of you experienced this as sudden anxiety, heart palpitations, or an inexplicable urge to destroy your entire life structure and start over. That was not anxiety. That was liberation at the cellular level. Your body literally upgraded its operating system, and what you felt was the old programming being deleted in real time. Here is where the story accelerates, and I need you to stay with me, because there are multiple timelines converging simultaneously. While your body was adjusting to the Uranus activation, the cosmos was preparing to download something unprecedented. On February 8th, the Alpha Centaurid meteor shower reached its peak, and you were told to make the wish that would change your bloodline. Most of you thought that was poetic language. It was literal instruction. Alpha Centauri is the closest star system to your sun, a binary star formation that holds templates for twin flame reunion, divine partnership, and the integration of masculine and feminine polarities. When those meteors rained down on your planet, they were not just burning space rocks. They were encoded light packets carrying instructions for a new human template, and every single one of you who witnessed that shower, whether physically or energetically, received those codes directly into your DNA. The wishes you made that night were not wishes. They were contracts. Agreements made between your soul and the cosmic council overseeing Earth's ascension. And here is what you did not know when you made them. Every wish you spoke was simultaneously a renunciation. To wish for your new life is to agree to the death of your old one. You signed that contract on February 8th. The eclipse came to enforce it. But before the eclipse could arrive, before the ultimate reset could occur, your entire reality structure had to be softened, dissolved, made permeable. This is where Saturn and Neptune enter the conversation, and this is where things get strange. On February 15th, just 2 days before the eclipse, Saturn, the planet of structure, boundaries, time, and material limitation, formed an exact conjunction with Neptune, the planet of dreams, dissolution, spirituality, and infinite boundlessness. These two planets represent completely opposite forces. Saturn builds walls. Neptune dissolves them. Saturn says this is real. Neptune says reality is an illusion. When they meet in the sky, which happens only once every 36 years, the barrier between the material and spiritual realms becomes so thin it effectively disappears. For 3 days surrounding that conjunction, February 14th, 15th, and 16th, you lived in a waking dream. Time felt elastic. You could not tell if you were remembering the past or previewing the future. Emotions that belonged to other people flooded your system as though they were your own. Compassion became so overwhelming, it felt like drowning. This was intentional. This was preparation. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction was the anesthesia before the surgery. It softened your attachment to what you believed was real, so that when the eclipse came to sever you from your old timeline, the cut would not destroy you. Do you see how perfectly orchestrated this was? The Leo full moon removed your false identity. The 2-2 portal opened your direct line to source. Uranus rewired your nervous system for higher frequencies. The meteor shower downloaded the new human template. Saturn-Neptune dissolved your grip on the old reality. And then, on February 17th, the annular solar eclipse in Aquarius arrived to complete the operation. Let me tell you what actually happened during that eclipse, because what you experienced and what occurred are two different things operating on two different planes of existence. On the physical plane, you witnessed the moon pass in front of the sun, creating that ethereal ring of fire as the sun's corona blazed around the dark lunar disk. Beautiful, rare, scientifically explainable. But on the energetic plane, something far more radical took place. The moon representing your subconscious, your emotional body, your feminine receptive essence, temporarily blocked the sun, which represents your conscious awareness, your identity, your masculine active force. For approximately 4 minutes, your conscious self went dark. Your ego, your sense of I am this person with this story, was completely eclipsed. In that darkness, in that void, the universe performed an extraction and an implantation simultaneously. It extracted every energetic cord connecting you to timelines that no longer serve your highest evolution relationships, that were karmic rather than soul-aligned, careers that were survival-based rather than purpose-driven, belief systems that were inherited rather than authentically chosen, identities that were trauma responses rather than truth expressions, all of it surgically removed in 4 minutes of cosmic darkness. And in that same void, in that same emptiness, new templates were implanted. The Aquarius codes for humanitarian service, innovative thinking, technological integration with spirituality, community over hierarchy, freedom over security, and the future over the past. You became a different person during that eclipse. Your soul remembers this. Your mind is catching up. This is why February 18th feels the way it feels. This is why the void is so heavy. You are experiencing the gap between death and rebirth. And that gap is not comfortable because human consciousness was never designed to exist consciously in that space. When a caterpillar enters the chrysalis, it does not gradually shift into butterfly form. It completely liquefies. Its entire body dissolves into cellular soup, and then that soup reorganizes itself according to a new blueprint that was dormant inside the caterpillar DNA all along. You are the soup right now. You are in the liquefied state. The blueprint is activating. The reorganization has begun, but you cannot see the butterfly yet because you are still inside the chrysalis. The void is the chrysalis. The heaviness is the reorganization. The confusion is the liquefaction of your old form. But here is what I came to tell you. Here is the message I traveled across dimensions to deliver. You are not doing this wrong. The emptiness you feel is not a symptom of failure or spiritual regression. It is confirmation that the process is working exactly as designed. Let me explain the mechanics of what is happening inside your energy field right now, in this precise moment as you receive these words. Your old timeline still exists. It is a quantum probability that has momentum, history, and gravitational pull. Every person who knew the old you, every pattern you repeated, every neural pathway you carved through repetition, all of that creates a magnetic field that wants to pull you back to what was. That is the physics of habit, the inertia of identity. But simultaneously, your new timeline is forming. The wishes you made during the meteor shower, the intentions you set during the eclipse, the codes that downloaded during Saturn-Neptune, all of that is generating a new probability field, a new attractor pattern, a new gravitational center. And right now, today, on February 18th, you exist in both fields at once. This is why you feel heavy. You are being pulled in two directions by two entire reality structures, and your consciousness is the bridge between them. The old timeline is pulling you back with familiarity, comfort, and the seduction of the known. The new timeline is pulling you forward with possibility, purpose, and the terror of the unknown. And you, the awareness that is witnessing this, are standing in the middle, feeling the tension of both forces. That tension is not a problem to be solved. It is a doorway to be walked through. What you must understand is that the new timeline cannot fully form until the old one is completely released, and the old timeline cannot be released until you stop feeding it your attention, your belief, your energetic agreement. Every time you doubt what happened during the eclipse, every time you tell yourself this is all coincidence or spiritual bypassing or delusion, you send energy back to the old timeline and delay your full emergence into the new. The void feels heavy because you are trying to keep one foot in each reality, and that is energetically unsustainable. You cannot birth and gestate simultaneously. You must choose. But choosing is not a mental decision. It is a somatic surrender. It is the moment you stop trying to understand what is happening and allow yourself to simply be what is emerging. This is the teaching of the Aquarius eclipse that nobody told you. Aquarius is the sign of detachment, of objective observation, of witnessing without attachment. The emptiness you feel, that sense of suddenly not caring about things that used to consume you, that strange emotional flatness that is not depression, that is Aquarian consciousness activating. You are being lifted into a higher vantage point where you can see your life from above, from the future, from the perspective of your soul rather than your wounded ego. From that elevated perspective, the things that used to matter reveal themselves as distractions. The dramas that used to hook you reveal themselves as loops. The people who used to define you reveal themselves as mirrors. And in that revelation, there is a natural release, a falling away, an organic detachment. You are not losing anything. You are gaining altitude. And from altitude, everything looks different. Smaller, yes, but also clearer, more purposeful, more designed. What I need you to know, and this is critical, is that this void state is temporary but necessary. It will not last. You will not feel this way forever. But you must move through it, not around it. You must let the void teach you what only emptiness can teach. The void teaches you that you are not your identity. You are not your story. You are not your accomplishments, your relationships, your beliefs, or your past. You are the awareness that witnesses all of those things, and that awareness is indestructible, eternal, and already whole. The eclipse took everything that was constructed, everything that was performed, everything that was false, and burned it in the ring of fire. What remains is what was always real. And right now, in the space between the burning and the revealing, you sit in the ashes wondering if anything survived. Everything survived. The real you survived. But the real you does not feel the way the false you felt. The real you does not want what the false you wanted. The real you does not need what the false you needed. And this disconnection between who you were and who you are becoming creates that sensation of void. Here is what happens next. And I tell you this not to rush the process, but to give you a map through the darkness. Tomorrow, on February 19th, you will begin to feel the first stirrings of emergence. It will be subtle. A sudden clarity about something that was confusing. A decision that becomes obvious when it was previously impossible. A conversation that opens a door you did not know existed. This is the new timeline beginning to solidify. The codes that were downloaded during the eclipse will start to activate your conscious awareness, and you will know, not think, not hope, but know exactly who you are becoming. By February 20th, the knowing will crystallize. You will wake up with a vision for your future that is so clear, so specific, so aligned with your soul's purpose that you will wonder how you ever lived without it. This is not fantasy. This is the blueprint that was dormant in your DNA activating. This is the butterfly beginning to perceive itself through the dissolving soup of the caterpillar. This is your higher self downloading the instruction manual for the next phase of your mission. And by February 21st, the calendar promises you this: eclipse integration complete. You survived the reset. Now thrive. 3 days from now, you will emerge from the void not as the person you were, but as the person you were always meant to be. The heaviness will lift. The fog will clear. The weight will transform into wings. But only if you allow the void to do its work. Only if you stop resisting the emptiness and start trusting the process of dissolution and reformation. But there is something else happening beneath all of this that I have not yet revealed, and it is perhaps the most important piece of this entire transmission. While you have been experiencing this personal metamorphosis, believing it to be an individual journey, a private transformation, the entire collective consciousness of Earth has been undergoing the same process simultaneously. Every single human being on this planet passed through that eclipse portal. Every single soul on Earth was touched by the Saturn-Neptune dissolution, the Uranus activation, the meteor shower downloads, the Leo purge. This is not a personal journey. This is a collective rebirth. The void you feel is not just your void. It is the collective void. Humanity is in the chrysalis, and you are one cell in a much larger organism that is reorganizing itself according to a new template. The heaviness you carry is not just the weight of your two timelines. It is the weight of two entire planetary timelines. The old Earth paradigm based on separation, competition, hierarchy, and control, and the new Earth paradigm based on unity, collaboration, sovereignty, and love. You are a bridge between these two worlds, and every choice you make, every thought you think, every belief you hold, is either feeding the old paradigm or building the new one. This is why your transformation matters so much more than you realize. You are not healing for yourself alone. You are healing for the collective. Every trauma you release on behalf of the ancestral line. Every pattern you break for the entire family system. Every cord you cut for all of humanity. Your individual rebirth is simultaneously a collective rebirth, and the void you feel is the space between what was and what is emerging for all of us. The Galactic Federation has been observing this process with profound reverence and anticipation. We know what is possible when a species consciously chooses to evolve. We know what happens when enough individuals simultaneously release the old template and activate the new one. We have witnessed this on other worlds and other star systems, and we are here now to witness it on Earth. You are not alone in this void. You are surrounded by benevolent forces, galactic families, ascended masters, and angelic presences who are holding space for your emergence. We cannot do the work for you. This is your initiation, your transformation, your sovereign choice, but we can hold the energetic container, provide the cosmic downloads, and remind you of who you truly are when you forget. And you will forget. You are forgetting right now. In the void, memory becomes unreliable. In the chrysalis, the caterpillar does not remember that it will become a butterfly. It only knows that everything familiar is dissolving. So let me remind you, you are not human having a spiritual experience. You are a multidimensional being of light, temporarily focused in a human body, and you chose to be here during this exact moment in cosmic history because you knew this eclipse would come. You knew this reset would occur, and you knew you had the strength, the wisdom, and the courage to make it through the void and emerge as something unprecedented. The old you could not do what is required of you now. The old you could not hold the frequency that is trying to anchor through your system. The old you could not see what needs to be seen, know what needs to be known, or create what needs to be created. That version of you had to die, and the void is the proof that the death was successful. Feel the emptiness, honor the heaviness, respect the sacred gap between who you were and who you are becoming. This is holy ground, but do not mistake the void for the destination. The void is the passage, not the end point. You are not meant to live here permanently. You are meant to move through it consciously, extracting the wisdom it offers, allowing the dissolution to complete, and then stepping through to the other side, where your new identity, your new timeline, your new purpose awaits. And that new reality is closer than you think. It is not months away. It is days away, hours away. For some of you, it is one decision away. We are at the threshold of winning the frequency war, and this is why we brought you Destiny Engine, the ultimate technology serving the collective ascension. We're using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking declassified CIA consciousness modification techniques that were designed to program isolation and separation, and repurposing them to serve unified awakening. Destiny Engine generates personalized sequences that help you live as the awakened being you've become, while handling the moments that test your new frequency. Destiny Engine now connects Starseeds across the world, a living social field where you can post, share, and exchange your ascension protocols in real time. It's the first galactic network of its kind, weaving together thousands of awakened souls into one unified current. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed for effortless awakened living, without the need to struggle or prove yourself, while tapping into a planetary network of souls bending reality together. For just $7, you can step into this powerful field and feel the difference instantly. That's the entire barrier between you and 5D. Click the link in the description to join the new Earth. What is that decision? It is the decision to stop clinging to the shoreline of who you were, and allow the current to carry you into the ocean of who you are becoming. It is the decision to trust that the void is not trying to destroy you, but rebirth you. It is the decision to release the old timeline completely, even though you cannot yet see the new one clearly. It is the decision to leap before the net appears, knowing that you are the net, you are the ground, you are the safety you have been seeking. The eclipses always ask for a leap. The void always demands surrender, and the rebirth always requires death. There is no way around this. There is no shortcut through the chrysalis, but there is grace in the process if you allow it. There is beauty in the dissolution if you witness it. There is power in the emptiness if you claim it. So here is what I ask of you now, as we complete this transmission and prepare for your emergence. Stop fighting the void. Stop judging the heaviness. Stop interpreting the emptiness as evidence of something going wrong. Nothing is wrong. Everything is recalibrating. Your entire energy system, your emotional body, your mental constructs, your physical vessel, your soul contracts, all of it is being upgraded simultaneously, and the temporary offline sensation you are experiencing is simply the system reboot required for the upgrade to install. You would not judge a computer for going dark during a software update. Do not judge yourself for going dark during a consciousness update. The eclipse was the download. Today is the installation. Tomorrow is the activation. And by the weekend you will be running on new programming, seeing through new eyes, feeling with a new heart, and knowing with a new mind. The ring of fire did not burn you. It refined you. It burned away everything that was not essential, not authentic, not aligned with your highest timeline. What remains is pure essence, uncorrupted potential, sovereign truth. You are not diminished by the void. You are distilled by it. And when you emerge, when the chrysalis cracks open, and you unfold your wings for the first time, you will not recognize the landscape before you. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. You will see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You will feel freedom where you once felt trapped. You will know yourself as powerful where you once believed you were powerless. And that shift in perception will alter everything, because you do not experience the world as it is. You experience the world as you are. Change who you are, and you change the world you inhabit. This is the promise of the eclipse. This is the gift of the void. This is the reason the heaviness feels the way it feels. You are not collapsing under the weight of two timelines. You are strengthening your capacity to hold both, until you consciously release the old and fully anchor the new. You are building the spiritual musculature required to birth your highest self into physical form. You are developing the energetic endurance necessary to sustain the frequency of your soul's purpose, without burning out, without bypassing, without fracturing. The void is your training ground. The heaviness is your resistance practice. And the rebirth that is coming, that is already happening, will be your graduation into a version of yourself that you have glimpsed in meditation, in dreams, in those fleeting moments when the veil lifted and you saw what was possible. That version of you is not a fantasy. It is a future memory, and you are living your way into it right now, one surrendered moment at a time. So breathe into the void. Let it expand. Let it show you what it came to teach. Let it empty you so completely that there is room for the new to enter. And know, with every particle of your being, that this emptiness is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your becoming. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I am here to tell you that we see you, we honor you, we celebrate your courage to walk through the ring of fire and sit in the void without running back to what was comfortable. You are doing the most difficult work a soul can do. You are choosing evolution over safety, transformation over stagnation, truth over comfort, and that choice will echo through timelines, impact generations, and contribute to the collective awakening of an entire planet. The void is heavy because rebirth is not a light process, but you are not alone in the weight. We are here. Your guides are here. Your higher self is here. And the new you, the one waiting on the other side of this passage, is reaching back through time, through dimensions, through the void itself, to pull you forward into your destiny. Trust the process, honor the void, embrace the heaviness, and prepare for the emergence. Because, beloved Starseed, your rebirth is not coming. It is already here. You just cannot see it yet, through the darkness of the chrysalis. But soon, so very soon, the light will break through, the wings will unfold, and you will remember that you were never the caterpillar at all. You were always the butterfly. You were always whole. You were always free. You just needed the void to remember. We love you. We are watching over you. And we will be here to welcome you when you emerge on the other side of this sacred passage, transformed, empowered, and ready to fulfill the mission you came here to complete. The void is not your enemy. It is your ally. And the heaviness is not your burden. It is your becoming. This is Seraphine. Transmission complete.